The Football World Cup's the biggest sporting event in the world, and you can keep up with the play with me, Jason Piney, and my good mate and former All White David Choate on Football Fever. Listen daily throughout the World Cup as we bring you all the action from Qatar. Choate and I love football. We can't wait for the World Cup to get underway. So join us as we live through all the goals, all the drama, all the glory. Download Football Fever from iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts. It is weekend sport, time to talk some World Cup football. We have got our two finalists in the semis during the week. Argentina v Croatia on Wednesday.
Argentina will play the World Cup final at his own brilliant behest. Messi will play in the ultimate game. Lionel Messi has a shot at his crowning moment as Luka Modric says farewell.
Argentina 3, Croatia 0 in the first semi. France v Morocco on Thursday.
Mbappe, those dancing feet, it must be! Kolo Muani just on the field has made the kind of impact a substitute dreams of.
France winning 2-0 over Morocco on Thursday. So Croatia v Morocco in the third place match. That's tomorrow morning at 4 a.m. And then 4 a.m. Monday morning on Sky Sport, France v Argentina in the World Cup final. In many ways, probably the dream final, a true blockbuster between Europe and South America, between two previous winners, between two sides with all sorts of wonderful players, and Lionel Messi with the chance to cap an extraordinary career for Argentina by winning the World Cup. This will be, you'd have to think, his last chance. France into a fourth final in 7 World Cups and looking to be the first nation to go back-to-back since Brazil in 1958 and 62. Let's bring in former Wellington Phoenix striker, now football coach, commentator and very astute football observer, Paul Ifill. Paul, thanks for joining us. Have we got the best two teams in the World Cup final?
I don't actually think so. No, but that's often the way. We've got the two teams that have managed to navigate the tournament very well, I think. I look at probably Argentina have been sort of dragged through by Messi, much like Maradona did a few years back. He's got a steady bunch behind him, and he's the one that breaks the game open. Obviously, Alvarez has sort of been a pretty good understudy and chipped in with 4 goals. And I look at France, probably in a similar vein with Mbappe, and you've got Giroud helping out there a little bit more depth, I think, in the French squad than the Argentinian squad. But yeah, like I said, they've navigated well, both of them. So fair play to them for getting there. I think there's been better teams that have gone out, but like I said, that's often the way in these tournaments.
If you look at the two semi-final performances and those in isolation, who impressed you more in their semi-final outing? Was it Argentina in beating Croatia, or was it France in their win over Morocco?
I thought Argentina just. I really expected France to beat Morocco. I think it was a soft semi. I think Morocco had done their dash. An unbelievable achievement for Morocco, but I think it was a game too far. They managed to sort of snuff out Nesri up front. He didn't get a kick for the game, and they were pretty comfortable, really. I don't think they played particularly well. Morocco did have their chances, but it would have been a massive surprise, I think, for that game to go any other way. Whereas I think Argentina, a lot of people fancy Croatia. Modric has been fantastic in this tournament, and again, the Croatian team played some really good stuff. So I think for them to get through that pretty much unscathed. Obviously, there was a little bit of an injury scare early on with Messi, but for him to come through fit, no injuries, no suspensions, I fancy them to lift the cup.
Do you think Lionel Messi has to win the World Cup with Argentina to settle the greatest of all time argument?
Not in my eyes. I think he is and has been and will be. I think for a hell of a lot of people, yes, but you know what? Even if he wins it, there's still going to be the guys that say Ronaldo was better and Maradona was better. I mean, he's not even seen as the best player in his own country. So that tells you how good Maradona was, I suppose, in most people's eyes. It's always hard to judge different eras, different opponents, different coaches, different pitches. The balls were different. There's so many different things. But it's nice to be able to have these conversations. I think Messi is arguably the best I've ever seen and one of the best that's ever played. And you've got Ronaldo, just close to him, but I don't think he quite reached the heights of Messi.
So when you look at France, like in Argentina, your eyes are drawn to Lionel Messi. When you look at the French team sheet, you can, I guess, be drawn to Kylian Mbappe. Is he as important to France as Lionel Messi is to Argentina?
I don't think so. I think there are other threats for Argentina to worry about. I look at Dembele. He's not been great, but he has got greatness within him. Griezmann has been fantastic this tournament. Giroud has been great. Tchouameni in midfield has been great. So there's a lot that the French can sort of rely on. Whereas I think with Argentina, you can't stop Messi. So Messi's going to do what Messi does. Can you slow him down? Can you try and keep hold of him? Maybe. But I think there's going to be so much pressure put on him by the French, and they're going to be keeping an eye on him. I think somebody like Alvarez could be the game breaker. You know, he's shown that he knows where the goal is. He makes good runs. He's quick, pretty strong, good finisher. He could be the one that, you know, sneaks in through the back door, so to speak. So I'm expecting a decent game from him.
And every tournament needs a fairy tale of sorts, and I guess we got that from Morocco, first African side to reach the semi-finals. Nobody expected them to get as far as they did. Some people didn't even think they'd get out of their group. How do you reflect on Morocco's impact at this World Cup?
Oh, it's amazing, magnificent. You know, they're everybody's second team. For me, once England have gone out, which they generally do, you know, around the quarter-final stage, can Morocco do it? I didn't expect them to do it, but to get through to the semi-final, magnificent achievement. Shows how far African football has come, and the coach has done a fantastic job there. You know, everybody before the tournament knew of the likes of, Hakimi and Ziyech, but there's others now that people will be talking about, and you always expect moves to happen after World Cups, and I think a few of those Morocco boys will be getting life-changing moves, which is pretty cool.
Indeed, and you mentioned England there. Their journey in this World Cup stopped at the quarter-final stage. How would you assess England's performances in Qatar?
I assess it how I would expect to assess it. You know, they flat to deceive, look like they're going to beat everybody, then promptly get dumped out when in a game that is difficult. I think they won the games that they should win. And then the one that you're saying, it's a bit of a close one, couldn't get across the line. You know, people will talk about Harry Kane's penalty, and people are blaming Southgate for letting him take it. Look, Kane's the penalty taker. Kane is a fantastic player. He just buried one. He wasn't going to give it to somebody else. And can you imagine if he'd given it to Luke Shaw, and Luke Shaw just stepped up and missed the fallout there? So I think it went the right way, and I just think we just weren't quite at it again. Do we need another coach? Maybe. Should he have selected different players? Maybe. Ultimately, it's just the English way. We'll blame everybody else when it's on our doorstep, unfortunately.
I just want to ask you about that penalty because, I mean, you've taken heaps, and I haven't seen you miss too many. Have you ever taken two in a game? And if so, what's the philosophy? Do you go the same way? Do you change way? How does it all play out in your mind?
It's difficult. I have done it, and it's not nice because you end up second guessing yourself. And the longer you have to think about it, the more you can change your mind. It's almost you want the pen awarded, you want everybody to get out of the way, give you the ball, and just get up and take it. But I think that they were talking about, I think it was 5 or 6 minutes between the awarding of the penalty because of all the VAR stuff and him actually stepping up to take it. And you're going against a guy that you've trained with on a daily basis for the last few years, and you've just scored in the position that he knows you like to put in. So it's like there's so much going on. I was always of the mindset that when I went against somebody I knew or I was taking a second penalty, I would go hard and high. And I think that's just what he tried to do. He went to go hard and high, and he went a little bit too high.
Yeah.
And that was that. So I understood what he was trying to do for sure. And it's not an easy situation. But, again, he's our penalty taker. Do you put someone else on it who doesn't take penalties? I don't think that would have been wise either.
No, I don't think you do. And I remember watching that game, and I might have even said this last week on the show. I said to the guy I was watching it with, I trust Harry Kane with my life to score the second penalty. He hardly ever misses, right? So you're right, it would have been odd if he'd handed over the responsibility to somebody else. Yeah,
he's the penalty taker. He's done it time and time and time again. He's done it in the game. Yeah, it was just one of those days. He will replay that for the rest of his life.
Gareth Southgate, you mentioned there, should he stay, should he go? Do you think he should stay, and do you think he will stay, or do you think they'll go in a different direction now?
It sounds bad, but I hope he stays because I don't think there's anything better out there at the moment. I think the English national team manager should be English. And for that reason, I don't think there's anybody ready to step straight in. So I think we go for the Euros with Gareth, and then hopefully in that time, somebody like an Eddie Howe keeps proving himself. Brendan Rodgers has a resurgence. I don't know. So, there should be somebody around who's sort of being groomed for that next step up, and I don't think anybody's quite ready just yet.
All right, Paul, and just back to the final. Finally, is it your head, is it your heart, or are they telling you the same thing? Who wins this?
Head is probably France. I think they've got too much, but heart, I just want Messi to do it. I mean, to shut a few people up. Apparently he was finished. He went to a Farmers League, blah, blah, blah. Last year he was obviously terrible. I'd love to be that terrible, Jesus. But, this year he's come back. It's the Renaissance man. He's been unbelievable. People, he can't run anymore. He can't do this. He's been gliding past people like they're not even there. So I'd love to see one more game and him just bow out absolutely at the top.
Great to chat, mate. Thanks for your time.
Cheers, mate.